NTAi International News.
Realizing vision of Nigeria's 8th Parliament dominates retreat for top management staff of National Assembly. Judges and caddies in refresher course. Chief Justice of Nigeria harps on modernization of nation's judiciary through technology. NTAi partners international broadcast experts for improved signal and content. And International Day of Happiness. Nigeria ranks 6th happiest country in Africa as Norway leads the world. Thanks for joining us on the news on NTAi International. I am Segun Lawole. Senate President Bukola Saraki has described the management of the National Assembly as the foundation of an efficient, effective, and result-oriented legislature. This was at a retreat for National Assembly top management staff, where he noted the place of management in realizing the vision of the 8th National Assembly. Correspondent Dennis Adigoloye reports.
The Senate President urged participants to look upon new opportunities and challenges with an open and positive mind, adding that Nigerians look up to the National Assembly for direction, and therefore it is imperative that management is fit for the task ahead. The clerk to the National Assembly, Sani Omolori, spoke in a similar vein, emphasizing that the management of the National Assembly must be given its pride of place and as such should be adequately funded to meet global standards of technological advancement. Over the next week, issues to be interrogated include strategic planning and management of the National Assembly, leadership and organizational efficiency and effectiveness, and legislative practice and procedure. In Lokoja, Dennis Adigoloye, NTAi News.
Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onoge, says there is a renewed effort to modernize the nation's judiciary through the introduction of technology. He stated this in a message to the opening of a refresher course for judges and caddies in the country. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewu reports.
This is Court 1 of the Federal High Court in Abuja. And from the setting here, everything already looks set for the takeoff of the modernization of the judicial process in Nigeria. But the key issue about this refresher course is how widespread this process will eventually be, and not about some strategic courts in Nigeria. Attending the refresher course are judges of high courts and customary courts of appeal from across the country and caddies of Sharia courts of appeal, all led by the heads of courts from at least 20 states. The idea of the course, which has as its theme modernizing judicial practice and procedure, is to, in the words of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, shed off old habits and imbibe new technology that can help justice dispensation in the country.
The application of information and the communication technology solutions to the administration of justice could make the system function more effectively.
The National Judicial Institute, organizers of the training, hope for better coordination among major players in the nation's justice sector.
For the Nigerian judiciary to remain the hope of every man, not just the common man, we must be dynamic by keeping in tune with modern techniques in the administration of law and justice.
The course is running for 5 days as a way of helping to impart the basics in technology. Femi Okewu, NTAi News.
In the meantime, the arraignment of Commandant General Peace Corps of Nigeria, Dixon Ako, at the Federal High Court, Abuja, could not hold, though the defendant was in court. Idino Justice tells us why.
The news of the arraignment of Dixon Ako, Commandant General Peace Corps of Nigeria, filtered in early Monday morning. NTAi News crew moved with dispatch to the Federal High Court, Maitama, Abuja. At about 9 o'clock, the defendant was seated in the courtroom, but the waiting crowd was told that the case was not slated for the day. The prosecution counsel, Alilu Aminu Kayode, explained why the case could not be heard while the parties appeared ready.
The court simply told us that a date has not been fixed for the arraignment, and as soon as a date is fixed, they communicated to us. It's the duty of the court to fix a date. Our duty is to file a charge. We have done so. We have brought him also to the court. So, as part of his own right, access to court, access to justice, but the court said they are not ready, but we are ready.
This Lago, along with 50 other Peace Corps members, were arrested by the police in a joint security raid on the 28th of last month for allegedly giving illegal military training and extorting money on false pretense. He had since been on police bail before this court appearance.
Court said that a new date will be communicated. From the Federal High Court, Maitama, Edina Justice, NTAi News.
The federal government has reiterated its commitment to human capacity building in the Niger Delta as part of efforts to fast-track development in the region. Special advisor to the president on Niger Delta and coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Boro, gave the assurance at a media chat in Abuja. Nnamdi Odipo has the report.
It's barely the end of the third month of the year, but the Presidential Amnesty Office already feels inclined to do some stock taking. It is only logical to begin with areas of strength where gains have been made and more likely to be made within the year and perhaps in coming years. The achievements cut across various sectors. Thousands of delegates have been trained and thousands empowered with starter packs to open small businesses in the Niger Delta. The ultimate aim of the program is to form a base of experts in various fields and vocations that will fast-track development in the Niger Delta.
The Presidential Amnesty Office is focused on human capacity development, which ensures stability in the Niger Delta region to allow for development.
However, the major challenge to achieving set targets within the program is funding. Last year, the Presidential Amnesty Office was constrained to work with half of its budget from 2015. It hopes 2017 will be a better year in terms of funding. In Abuja, Nnamdi Odipo, NTAi News.
Training and retraining of the workforce, increase viewership, and generate revenue for the Nigerian Television Authority, NTAi, dominated a technical discussion between the management and the project manager of WTS broadcast system. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports that the meeting was held at the corporate headquarters of the NTAi, Abuja.
Blessed with dedicated and committed staff, the Nigerian Television Authority sees success as a journey and not a destination, which is what has informed the need for this partnership. These broadcast experts took time to engage the management of the NTAi, led by the Director General, Yakubu Ebon Mohammed, on how to improve quality of signals and content of their broadcasts. Executive directors took turn to ask questions, to review and restructure news and programs, as well as rebranding of the various channels.
Taking NTAi to the next level.
The Director General says NTAi will continue to strive towards increasing its viewership through quality programming.
I want to see NTAi where it belongs in the next few years, and where NTAi rightly belongs is at the very top. So our aim and objective is to make sure that NTAi gets to where it is, where it should be, and that is the very top. Here in Abuja, we have News 24, we have NTAi International, we have NTAi Abuja. So we're starting at this point in time with this staff, of these various channels, platforms of the NTAi, and eventually we are going to dovetail into the various zonal centers, and from the zonal centers we are going right down to the production center levels.
Different mixture of morning show, different mixture on prime time, targeted shows for afternoon when the kids are leaving school, and so on and so forth. I am very optimistic because NTAi is a very, very, very powerful and very big operation platform, and it has all the potential to succeed, honestly. Otherwise I wouldn't be here.
The partnership between the NTAi and WTS is to further reposition the station for change and making the station one to beat. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTAi News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is asking more than 7.8 million registered voters yet to claim their permanent voter cards to do so, as the Commission plans to hold continuous voters registration in April. At the first consultative meeting with the media executives and political correspondents, INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, also stated that the use of card readers in elections has come to stay. Political correspondent Abdullah Garba Binikudu reports.
A PowerPoint presentation appraised INEC ICT initiatives on how the usage of card readers in 2015 reduced malpractices and areas of improvement. INEC chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu said INEC is working according to the world best practices, which informed the release of election dates for 2019 early enough.
It means one presidential election nationwide constituency. We have 29 governorship elections. We have 109 senatorial constituencies, 360 federal constituencies, 991 state constituencies. Believe it or not, the Bayelsa and Kogi governorship elections are coming up at the end of 2019. So we are going to have 1,560 constituencies to conduct elections in. From the beginning of the year to the end of the year, it is all election. So we need to plan.
On the coming continuous voters registration, he urged Nigerians who attain the required age limit and those requiring relocation to avail themselves the opportunity. The chairman promised to make the engagement with the media a continuous practice. The national president of the NUJ, Wahid Odushile, pledged continued partnership and cooperation of the media with INEC. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTAi News.
Science, technology, and innovation can propel Nigeria to a higher level of development with dedication and determination to embrace a knowledge-based economy. Minister of Science and Technology Dr. Ogbonnaya expressed this view at a meeting with members of the Nigerian Academy of Science and on current initiative of the Minister of Science and Technology.
The Federal Ministry of Science and Technology is taking Nigeria away from what we have been since independence. There's a new route, a new journey. It's a difficult journey, but it's a very important journey that we must take as a nation for us to become a truly great nation.
President of Nigerian Academy of Science, Professor Moscow Onuoha, commended the minister for the initiatives at the Ministry of Science and Technology, especially the upcoming Technology and Innovation Expo. He promised that the Academy will play a key role in ensuring that research results are commercialized.
Technology Expo. Although it's yet to come, but the amount of energy, enthusiasm that has been generated, I don't see any reason why the objectives, which is really to showcase what Nigerians can do, have been doing, hopefully get people prepared to invest in them.
Science correspondent Kieran Umayo reports that it is a consultative meeting towards achieving successful 2017 Technology Expo. This is the news on NTAi International, reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. There'll be more news after the break. Don't go away.
Hear the call to change, stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. Change begins from within. Look at you, oh Geruola. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with
Welcome back. The federal government has encouraged state governments to continue to pay their counterpart fund to be able to benefit from the World Bank FEDEMA 3 project. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Adu says the ministry is partnering the World Bank through mechanization. Musa Baba Aliu reports that the minister was in Kano State to inaugurate FEDEMA 3 project.
These tractors were provided by Kano State government through the Counterpart Fund for FEDEMA 3 project to further boost agricultural activities in all the 44 local government areas of Kano State.
Why we build and procure these tractors is for the sustainability of FEDEMA. When FEDEMA is closed, the farmers are going to sustain these offices. That's why we procure this as a subsidized price to our farmers.
Seed Production Center was also rehabilitated courtesy of the World Bank project. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Adu Ogbe said the initiative is expected to have positive impact on food production in the northwestern part of the country.
It's a machine that's very vital and useful to not only Nigeria but West Africa. This will add to Kano's efforts to continue to be in the lead. We're very pleased with it.
On its part, the Kano State government promised that all the 44 local government councils will key into the mechanization initiative of the federal government. In Kano, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTAi News.
30 years into the privatization of public enterprises in Nigeria, the need to critically review the policy and its operations remains on the front burner. This position was taken by experts on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria when discussing the gains and losses of privatization policy in Nigeria. Lydia Sampson reports.
While some say privatization has contributed to the economic development of Nigeria, others say it has also come with unintended consequences.
Those failures are not necessarily issues tied up with their privatization. They are probably tied up with some other macroeconomic problems in the country.
That ownership does not in itself guarantee success of an enterprise. It's the management of it.
They advocate transparency and accountability in the process of privatization, with competence and people's interests as key elements.
It talks of balance and development. So we need to have a mix of this and look at it within the context of our reality.
As against the common saying that government has no business doing business, they say governance itself is business, and government must play a monitoring role to ensure that privatized entities are managed well in line with contract stipulations.
If the policy is right, then the sector can thrive. Even if you want to ensure that there's no private monopoly, you have a regulator that must be skilled and knowledgeable to ensure that it regulates in the interest of the consumer.
They are unanimous that getting it right in the power sector will boost activities of other critical sectors to the benefit of the citizenry. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTAi News.
And our business news. Issues of cash liquidity and other economic matters occupy discussions at ongoing Monetary Policy Committee meeting. Muplan Dakok has details of these and other reports from the financial sector on Business News.
Hello there, and thanks for joining me on Business News. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria began its two-day meeting Monday to review the financial sector of the economy. The lingering issues of interest rate, cash liquidity ratio, among other economic matters, occupied discussions at the meeting. Meanwhile, the monetary and fiscal authorities of Nigeria met in Abuja at the weekend to seek collaboration on the way out of the current economic crunch. The meeting between the Central Bank of Nigeria, Ministries of Finance, Budget and National Planning, as well as Trade and Investment, was to harmonize their various policy perspectives. On the forex market, over-the-counter forex OTCs valued at $354.71 million will mature this week. The Central Bank of Nigeria, which introduced the OTC market last year, is expected to replace the maturing instrument with a March 2018 contract. Meanwhile, activities of the forex market increased to $4.09 billion last week from $3.99 billion recorded the preceding week. And on the stock market, trading began this week on a positive note. Here are details. And that's it on business news at this time. I am Moplang Dakok.
All right. Today is the International Day of Happiness. The day was introduced by the General Assembly of the United Nations during 2012 and was celebrated for the first time in 2013. Through seminars and educational tips and tools, it is aimed to educate and increase public awareness on the benefits of happiness for everyone. The day is a useful reminder that general happiness does not necessarily come from buying and consuming or from being famous or glamorous, but often from friends, family, and emotional well-being. The original day came from the kingdom of Bhutan in the Himalayan region of Asia. There, the population is thought by many to be among the happiest in the world due to the holistic approach to life and the amount of importance which is placed on the well-being of people and communities. Up next is a look at stories making headlines around the globe with Uche Unwezo.
The United Nations 2017 World Happiness Report states that Norway has unseated Denmark as the world's happiest country. The ranking aims to encourage nations to build social trust and equality to improve the well-being of their citizens. Reports from White House officials say U.S. President Donald Trump will host Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for talks in Washington on April 3. The officials said the visit will be at Trump's invitation, and ways of boosting the fight against terrorism and commitment to bilateral ties will dominate discussions. From the UK comes a report that Prime Minister Theresa May is to officially notify the European Union on 29th March of UK's exit. Prime Minister May said she would write to the European Council, hoping that negotiations on the terms of exit and future relations could then begin as quickly as possible. And on a side note, from Ghana, at least 18 people, mainly high school students, have died after a large tree fell on them at a popular waterfall spot in Kintampo. The reports say the students were swimming during a storm when the freak accident happened. Meanwhile, President Nana Akufo-Addo has sent his condolences to the families of the victims. Uche Nwizu, NTAi News.
In our sports, sports administrators call for the return of National Sports Festival as MPFL Under-17 Stars played out a 1-1 draw against FC Tshwane in their first game of the Future Championship Tournament in South Africa. Details with Dende Sani.
A joint technical committee meeting attended by 27 directors of sports from different states of the Federation has ended in the Kwara State capital with a call on government to do more for grassroots sports development. Kwara State Director of Sports Tunde Kazem expressed sadness that the National Sports Festival, last hosted by Lagos State 5 years ago, is yet to get another new date in either Calabar, Cross River State, or elsewhere.
To all in this business, we are not very pleased with this development.
Director of Grassroots Sports Development of the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports, Dr. Ademola Are, said those that excelled at the National Youth Games in the Lorry will represent Nigeria at the 2017 Commonwealth Games in Bahamas. The MPFL Under-17 Stars made their Gauteng Future Champions Tournament debut with a 1-1 draw against South Africa's FC Tshwane. Katleho Mampa gave the South Africans the lead in the 9th minute before Dini Lawal drew level for the Nigerians. The Nigerian lads will face Spartak Moscow in their next game. Australian Open champion Roger Federer beat Stan Wawrinka 6.
And the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onoge, says there is a renewed effort to modernize the nation's judiciary through the introduction of technology. And that's the news. Thanks for watching. I am Shegun Lawole.
NTAi International News.